Los Angeles was created in 1781. The United States Constitution was ratified in 1788. It came into force in 1789. California was not in obedience to this constitution until 1850. So 1781 was when Los Angeles was established, which means what? That Spanish was already here even before we became part of the Union in 1850, right? What does this mean? That utilizing speaking Spanish, which is here before English was here, utilizing being of Hispanic heritage as being capable of being a reason why you're stopped for immigration when there's a Hispanic history to this state tells us that not only does the executive, so the president, the Congress, so the majority Congress, not see California as American, but the court are saying that the majority of California who are of diverse ethnicities, right, that can be considered to be outside of white, alone 40% of the population is Latino. They are saying that you, as Californians of citizenship of the United States, because of your heritage, can be treated as not citizen until proven otherwise, right? This is an encroachment of liberties. It's an encroachment of the guarantees that California was given to ratify into the Constitution, right? In this reality, what we see is a severe breach of not only constitutional protections, but state rights. So the fact that our governor, Gavin Newsom, is not as angry to go beyond litigation to do anything about it, it promotes ignorance, erasure of the critical culture that was here before even the United States, right? This is the shield of the city of Los Angeles. There's the obviously the USA homage right and the top left, and then there's California when it was like its own entity for like a day to the top right. Then there's a Mexican homage to the bottom left, and then there's the Spanish homage to the bottom right. This is virtually positioning California as enemy, California as foreign, California as non American. In this reality, if the Constitution that we were promised as guarantees to ratify into the Union is optional, then so is our statehood, right? And I'm not one who's serious about secession, but we need to understand that law is only as binding as the Constitution. And the judicial opinions are only as binding as that very constitution. If they are eroding it, then what does that say about our connection to the federal government? Under Article 6, Section 2, the state government has an obedience to the constitution, not to that government when that government is eroding the constitution, right? Because what? In California, our rights as Californians are not dependent on the federal constitution, which means that our state commander-in-chief should be defending not only our federal, constitutional liberties, but our state constitutional liberties. As Californians, not as what they determine what Americans are, because obviously they're saying that California is not American. So they're trying to erase that culture. It is an ethnic cleansing. This is what it is. It's a cultural cleansing, what's happening. But I guess on the bright side, whenever we do get to rectify this and restore it, I do see what's happening as enough legal precedent to argue. Obviously, it's going to require amendments and convincing, right? But to argue for there to be semi-autonomous categorization for California or likewise states, right? Like Hawaii, I hear Hawaii's having a problem where they have a Hawaiian, I guess, indigenous like schools, and I guess white people are suing to like be included. So like in this reality where there's a semi-autonomous kind of categorization, the states would have charge of much more like cultural like safeguarding. So I do see that reality, which is kind of like Quebec in Canada, because Quebec has English speaking but also French speaking, right? Not the other parts of Canada, but why? Because French was there first. So ultimately Spanish was here first, right? Just like in Hawaiian, I'm sorry, I don't know what the actual dialect is called, but was there first, right? So ultimately, I do see this of being capable of leading us to a much more autonomous California. But in this reality, we have to actually amplify our voices, our differences. And if you are a citizen, I would recommend for you to amplify what would make you seem as foreign. Like me, I'm gonna start speaking Spanish. Well, I speak Spanish in general, but like I'm gonna be speaking more Spanish outside. I'm gonna be much more cultural, much more like rosary and stuff like that. Why? Because I want to make it more difficult for them to actually single out people for being foreign, right? Because a lot of those cultural connections are all across the board. It doesn't matter your citizenship. So we have to make it difficult on them to actually find them. So because of that, I'm going to amplify what makes me different, because if I get caught up, I'm a citizen. It doesn't matter. But if they get caught up, that's it. So I'm going to ensure that I'm over here ensuring that it's not easy for them to do it, right? But ultimately, we have to pressure our governor, because as commander in chief, he has the duty to defend the state. And that means defending our culture, defending our state rights. The fact that he's scared of the consequences is because we are probably also scared of the consequences. But at the forefront, an end to terror is better than a terror without end.